Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a story time. I'm so excited to tell you guys this story. I posted on my poll last night if you guys wanted to hear the story time about me quitting Applebee's. And all of you guys said yes, 100% you want to see it. Y'all nosy. So I'm going to be telling you guys the story time. I'm going to be telling y'all everything what happened, why I quit, the reason, everything. But before I get into this video, you guys, I want to give a disclaimer, okay? I recommend 100% working at Applebee's. It made me so much money in for just 4 weeks, you guys. Just 4 weeks, I made over $1,000 there. I recommend working there. Point blank, period. I just had to quit myself, y'all. The management was so poor. The co-workers was just not it. It was other reasons. The customers and the money was good though. So without further ado, you guys know I do not like to ramble. I'm about to give you guys this story time on why I quit Applebee's. Okay, so boom. I'm gonna try not to make this video long. I'm gonna just go along with how it happened. So you guys know I started working at Applebee's like 2 months ago, I believe. I started working there in May. I think the actual date was May 14th. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. And I quit 4 weeks later on the dot because them folks, they had to stay where they was at. The main reason on why I quit was favoritism, I believe, was in the workplace, and management. Those were the biggest reasons on why I quit. Not only that, but everything was so unorganized. They did not have a specific way that they ran. It was so unorganized. It was so many issues. And basically this story time is going to be many story times put into one, which are all the reasons why I quit. So to start off, within I don't know, I want to say my second week or third week of working there, I was already pulled to the back at least, hold on, let me tell the truth. I want to give you guys the facts. So at least 3 times, okay? And this was all, each time was by management. I'm going to tell you guys each reason on why I got pulled to the back. The first time I got pulled to the back was by, who was this by? I forgot her name, but we're going to call her Miss Catherine. Okay, Miss Catherine. She was one of the managers there. I think she was in training to become a different manager. I don't know, nor do I remember, nor do I care. Now, this particular day, it was a slow day. So I had came in probably around 4 and it was a bit slow. It doesn't really pick up till 5. So I came in, I was doing my thing. And the whole time I was running people's food and running my own food because I didn't really have tables, you know what I'm saying? And while I was doing that, I guess somebody was watching me. And I guess that manager, Mrs. Karen, or not Karen, that's not her name, Mrs. Catherine, she had said, what do they say when they need somebody to run food? They say runners or something like that. She had said that. And as she was saying that, I was walking out of the kitchen or whatever, back into the house, basically, back into the house. Now, as I was running food, you guys, I guess somebody was watching me real hard because when I got to the back after running somebody else's food again, I guess Mrs. Catherine had said runners, which means somebody needs to take some food out. There's some food that needs to be taken out. And I did not hear her say that. I really didn't. And so I just walked out of the kitchen, went to the house. And there were 3 other servers back there as well. Let's go ahead and put that out there. So when I walked out, I guess somebody was watching me. I'm pretty sure I know what coworker snitched or said whatever and was like, Jemai isn't running food. I'm pretty sure I already know, but she's watching me too hard. That coworker ended up telling on me or whatever. And let's say probably like not even 5 minutes later, actually not even 5, probably 3 minutes later, Miss Catherine called me to the back and said, when you get the chance, can you come to the back or whatever? Or somebody told me that she needed me. I don't know. So I come to the back and I'm like, Miss Catherine, you need me? And she's like, can you come to the back? I gotta talk to you. Whatever. I'm thinking she's about to talk to me about some new policy or something. I don't know, because I ain't do nothing. And so as I'm walking back there, this other coworker who don't like me, she a whole nother story. If you guys want to see that story time, I made that girl so mad. I don't know how. I'm just me, but apparently I'm triggering. That girl was staring at me. The coworker who I believe told on me or whatever, she was back there and they was literally eyeing at me, laughing, cackling, whatever, as I'm walking to the back. So that made me mad. That made me feel some type of way, because why are you looking at me cackling, kikiing like somebody happened or whatever? So I go to the back and she closes the door. She's like, it's nobody's business. It's nobody else's business. Let me close the door. And she was real sweet, but no.
She was like, so apparently I was told that you're not running food. And here at Applebee's, everybody runs food. It doesn't matter if it's your food, it's for your table, or somebody else's. You have to run food.
That made me upset, you guys. That made me upset because I'm probably the only, that's all I've been doing my whole 1 hour, you guys. I had only been there for 1 hour. 1 hour, and I'm already getting pulled to the back off of something so stupid. And it irritated me because I was doing that for majority of the time that I was here. So what are you talking about? And then it clicked. That's why these little girls was cackling and doing the most when I was getting taken to the back. And it looked like, oh, Jemiah's getting in trouble and this and that in front of my coworkers. And that is what irritated me. Now, that's not the reason why I quit. Of course, that was something small, but it was multiple times I was getting called to the back. Let me tell you guys another time. So I come into work, just clocked in. Just clocked in. Not even clocked in. I came to work early so I can eat and then clock in. Okay, that's what happened. So I probably came in around 3:30 and it was time for me to clock in around 4. One of them. So I come in, I asked my manager who was there, hey, can you bring me up some food, whatever. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna call him Daniel. We're gonna call him Daniel. So I'm like, Daniel, can you bring me in some food? I'm gonna eat before I clock in. He was like, yeah, no problem. So he rang me up some wings. I remember they was delicious, and I wanted some ranch with them. Not ranch, I lied. I said they was delicious. That was another time. That was another thing. He rang me up some nachos. So he rang me up some nachos, and I was like, thank you. So I go to the back, watching the people cook them. They're like, they're for you. I'm like, yeah, they're for me. And Miss Catherine is back there, and I'm watching her make these nachos, y'all. And she took, I don't know how much cheese she took, whatever, but she did a drizzle. It looked just like this of cheese. If you guys know queso nachos or nachos, they lather that junk with cheese. And if they don't lather it with cheese, they at least put cheese to fill up the plate or to put on the chips. She put a line. She put a squiggly line of cheese. I'm like, that's on 2 chips. That wasn't even on the whole plate, which is like this big. So I'm not making a big deal once again. I'm like, Miss Kathy, can you put some more queso on there? She goes to say,
if you want more cheese, you have to ring it in. That's food costs.
I'm like, I have to ring it in. And in my head, I was like, all right. So I said, okay. I guess she didn't hear the okay part, but I said, okay. I turned around, and since I can't ring it in, I'm not on the clock yet. I got to go back to Mr. Daniel, be like, can you ring in some cheese? When cheese is $0 anyway. So it didn't make no sense to me. But I walked out there. Mr. Daniel was on the phone by the time I went back out there with like some important call or whatever. So I couldn't even ring it back in. So I just walked in and said, whatever. Just whatever. I say he's on the phone. I can't ring it in. She gives me my plates of nachos. She ended up adding more cheese anyways. I didn't ring it in because I couldn't. So I thought I was just going to have my little squiggle, whatever. So she ends up putting more, gives it to me. I go eat. And then I clock in, and they instantly call me to the back, you guys. And what blew my mind was, if you was going to put extra cheese on it anyways, just by me asking, then why did you throw this little fit? Why did you do what you did? AKA call me to the back again. She ended up calling me to the back. I went to the back, and there was 2 managers back there this time. It was her, Mrs. Catherine, and this other manager. We're going to call him Mr. Barley. So Mr. Barley, he was back there too. He's the one who hired me. We were all 3 back there. And he was talking for her basically. She was in the corner like, just like this. And he was
like, so I heard you were disrespecting managers, and it seems like it's like a pattern with you disrespecting managers and having an attitude towards managers, and we can't do this. We can't have that. This is a disciplinary action or something like that.
So the first thing that I said was I didn't have an attitude or disrespect Miss Catherine. I pointed at her because I'm like, why is he talking to me about this? When you're a manager as well, you can talk to me too. You know, you can speak up, manager. So I'm like, there was no attitude or disrespect given towards Miss Catherine. And this isn't a pattern, so I don't know where you got that from. And 4, I don't feel disciplined. That's exactly how I said it, because it was getting on my nerves. Because it's like every time they call me to the back, my coworkers, you're doing this in front of my coworkers, they're like, where's Jemiah? She needs to come to the back. And then when I get back there, they're like, Jemiah, can you please come to the back? So everybody already know, apparently Jemiah's getting in trouble. You know, this is a pattern, da, 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 da. So I go to the back, and this is what they're telling me. And there's some more, we're going to say BS. So as I'm saying this, by the way, once again, I'm having my sweet voice on. I'm not having an attitude. I'm just being straightforward with them. So Miss Catherine speaks up for herself, and she's like, well, maybe you just have a strong character, and everything you say comes off strong. I'm like, comes off strong? And when you look at me, y'all, if you guys look at me, I'm built and I look like I'm 14. What part of this is strong? So basically, they're like, well, this is a disciplinary action. We can't have this again. And you know, oh, this is Mr. What did I name him? Mr. Barley talking. And he's like, you know, nobody disrespects me when I come around. So I know you don't do that around me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because then now he sound like somebody daddy. Or he sound like he's trying to check me. He said, even my wife, or not my wife, even the girl or woman that I have at home, doesn't disrespect me. I don't let her disrespect me, so why would I let somebody here disrespect me? And I'm like, I'm 19. I'm not the woman you got at home, and 2, I haven't disrespected you. Like, it was just them talking to me about my attitude and my disrespect and all this different type of stuff, and it was irritating me even more because just before, the day before, a manager was just telling this 19, I think she's 19, this girl, she was gonna beat her up, she was gonna drag her. Like y'all have no idea. She was like, why isn't she getting called to the bag? Also the day before, coworker was cursing this other coworker out right there in the back, just brawling it out. Another thing, somebody had just cursed the manager out the day before as well. So I'm like, I'm getting called to the bag because I asked for some more cheese on my nachos. So that happened. I ended up leaving, whatever. I went back to work, minding my business. I was like, this is it's getting petty. So once again, that's not another reason why I quit. That's not another reason. That was just adding on it. You know, it was just adding on it. But that ain't even half of why I quit. Now for the biggest reason that just made me dip. Okay, all these things added up, including some other things. There was a pedophile there, y'all. And this man had already wanted to shoot. Like, it was so many things that added up, y'all. It was too many things. But this right here was the last straw. This was what broke the camel's back, okay? Jamal was not having it. Okay, so boom. This day, I came in. I was scheduled to get off at 11 o'clock. Right on the dot. I remember because I was so excited. I get to see my boo thing after, all that. So, I was scheduled to come in at scheduled to get off at 11 o'clock. I come in, the day's going normal, whatever. And then as the day goes on, it hits probably around 8 o'clock and there's a big issue. Not even 8 o'clock. It was close to when I was going to get off. So let's say 9 or 8:30, something like that, y'all. Just know it was around that time. And a table comes in. It's for a girl, I'm pretty sure her boyfriend, and 2 moms. So I go over there, and at the same time, I have another table of like 9. They had already irritated me because it began with 3 people coming in, and then more people they added to their party, more. So that makes it hard on the waitress and the cooks, and it makes it confusing. Their food was coming out all wrong. And the lady that we had in the back was one of the managers. We're gonna call her Mrs. Ego because she had an ego. So Mrs. Ego was in the back. I never really saw her doing like the food where she gives the waitresses the food, you know. I forgot what it's called, but I never really saw her doing that. But now I see why she doesn't do it, because it was horrible. So the table that kept adding people to their table, all their food was coming out wrong. So I got their food fixed, whatever. They knew it wasn't me. They still tipped me good. They knew it was the kitchen. So all their food was coming out wrong. I finally got it to come out right. And they were missing a spinach dip. They had asked for 1 spinach dip, you guys, and they had been waiting 30 minutes on that 1 spinach dip. I kept going to the back and telling Mrs. Ego, they're waiting on a spinach dip. She's like, I already took one out. I'm like, well, they ordered that like 30 minutes ago, so I don't know which one you took out because they ain't got it. And you're supposed to go in order of the food when it comes up on the screen. I had already rang up that spinach dip. She should already got it out. She told me she already took it out. I'm thinking they got it. Whole time they didn't. So when I go back to the table, they're like, we don't have it. We still don't have it. We've been waiting 30 minutes for it. So when I go back, I tell her that. She's like, well, ring it in again. Okay, so I ring it again. Another probably 10 minutes go by. They still don't have it. Spinach dip takes about 2. I'm like, what's going on? I go back. I see a spinach dip. I'm about to grab it off the rack. And she's like, no, that's for another table. I'm like, my table still hasn't got theirs. She's like, ring in another one. We go through the same process 4 different times. So they finally got their spinach dip about an hour later. I'm like, this is ridiculous with her back here. So the reason why that irritated me is because it makes the waitress looks bad. It messes with my tip. It messes with my money. That's why I was irritated. But they knew it wasn't me. They still tipped me well, and at the end of it, they requested for a manager. She was the only manager right now, so Mrs. Ego had went out there, and she was, I'm sorry about the spinach dip. It was our fault. It was your fault. But anyways, it was our fault and da 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 da. She got that situated. As all of this spinach dip stuff is going on, I have that table of 4 I just told you guys about. The boyfriend, the girlfriend, the 2 moms. All they haven't got their food and it's been about 45 minutes, y'all. All this, that table and this table is taking place at the same time. It's been about 45 minutes, you guys. And they still haven't got their main courses. They haven't even got their appetizer. And they keep stopping me. They're like, do you know where our appetizer is? We need our appetizer. Is our appetizer going to come out before our food? And I'm like, yes, I'm sorry for the wait. I guess they're going in order of the tables. I made something up because I knew it was ridiculous. So when I went to the back, I saw about 5. They had ordered a classic combo for their appetizer. I had saw about 5 classic combos on the thing. So I'm like, one of those is for my table. Can I go ahead and get it? They've been waiting. Mrs. Ego was like, no, these are for other tables. I'm like, there's no way because my table ordered this classic combo about 45 minutes ago. There's no way that they haven't got it yet. So she's like, well, you're gonna have to ring in another one. And classic combos take about 10 minutes to make. I'm like, they're going to be waiting another 10 minutes. So she's like, well, you're just going to have to ring it back in. So I go back to the table. I ring it in. I go back to the table. And I'm like, you guys, I'm sorry. It's probably going to take 10 more minutes. And they're like, we've been waiting here for about an hour. I'm like, I know. I'm so sorry. I apologize. And so I go to the back. And that classic combo, she just told me to ring in, still isn't here. She said, I just took that out. They have it already. They have it already. And I'm like, they have it already? I just came from there. So she's like, I don't know. Check if they have it already. And so I slowly walk past the table. I'm like peeking because I don't want to go back over there. So I look up, y'all, they don't have it. So I got to pass their table to get to that party of people who kept adding in. And I had to go check on them. So they stopped me and they're like,
Is our food going to come out before our appetizer? Because I need our appetizer out first. That's how this is supposed to go.
And she's right. She wasn't wrong. But I was getting so frustrated with Miss Ego and that other table that it was not with that other table, with Miss Ego, that I was just like, your appetizer is going to come out first, ma'am. And I walked away. And it seemed like I had an attitude when I said that. I know it came off as that. I know it did. And I felt bad for it at the very end. So when I go back, I'm like, they don't have their classic combo. She's like, okay, I just sent it out. As soon as you walked in here, they have it. You can go ahead and take their food, their main course. And I'm like, no, I don't think you know what you're talking about. That wasn't to my table. And she was like, you got to take their food. We can't have it here sitting cold. So I'm like, but can I just let me go check first and then I'll take their food out. She's like, no, you need to take it out now. Fine. So that's what Jemai did. I grabbed all their food. I took it to their table believing that their classic combo was there. And guess what wasn't there? Their appetizer that they've been waiting on for an hour and some change. They specifically said it was going to come out first, y'all. They specifically said that. So when I brought it over there with other people, I looked dumb. I looked stupid and I looked so rude. So I'm like, wow. And they were mad. They requested for a manager right then. So guess what? Miss Ego had to go right back to that table, tell them why they didn't have their classic combo. There was really 10 classic combos before all the other ones. Like, that she had to explain all that, and she messed with my tip because they left and tipped me 0. That made me mad. So that had just happened. And as soon as we had just got both of those tables out, the people who kept adding people and the people who wanted their appetizer first out, a group of 8 comes in. Now this 8 is what broke me. This manager and Mrs. Catherine is what broke me. I said, I'm going. I ain't coming back. So remember, you guys, those 2 things just happened. Both tables had just requested for a manager. I'm irritated. This makes me look so bad. Remember that. A table of 8 comes in and they're all teens. They're all, actually not even. Probably half of them are teenagers and the other half is little kids, okay? It's like their brothers and sisters wanted to take them out. They were like 16, 17-year-olds with 8-year-olds and all that. Like, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. So long story short, by the time we got those 2 tables out, it's about 10 o'clock. It's about 10 o'clock and I get off at 11. I know you're not gonna get off at the time they schedule, but I was usually getting off like 2 hours after I was scheduled to get off. Like, it was ridiculous. And I was putting up with it, but today it wasn't happening. And when happening, it wasn't happening. It set me a table of 8. Now, I thought this was going to be my last table because it's 10 o'clock. I get off at 11, you guys. If you worked at a restaurant or fast food, you know how this goes. But apparently they don't. So it's 10 o'clock. I get a table at 8. That table at 8 is probably going to sit here, eat for 45 minutes. That means 10:45. And then after that, if I'm cut, I need to go ahead and clean my stuff. That's probably going to take me to 11:15, and then count my tips are going to take to 11:30, and then I need to dip. That's how this should have went. No, that's not how it went. They tried to have me here till 2 o'clock in the morning, which is what time I would have been there if I wouldn't have did what I did. So, boom, let's get right on into it. Table of 8 comes. Half teens, half little kids. They sitting at the table, they order. They all basically got, 2 people got like burgers and everybody else got wings. Now, the people who got bone-in wings specified that they wanted bone-in, which was only 2. The rest of everybody else got wings that were boneless. They got the meal that clearly says boneless on the menu. And so I write it down. I read their order back to them. Remember that. I read it back to them. They're like, it's all good. I leave and I go ring that stuff in. I'm waiting, and then while I'm waiting, they seat me again with another table of 2. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I can work these 2 and be cool, but after this, I'm done. I told him that I'm overwhelmed with this little 8 table. I'm still overwhelmed for what happened with the 2 managers. I barely got tip. I got no tip from that table, y'all. That adds up. I could have had $10 more, okay? Anyways, that's not the point. I told them that after this, I'm done. I'm scheduled to get off at 11. Y'all need to start cutting me. After this table, you should be cutting me. They're like, no, you're not. You need to know that you're not scheduled to get off at the right time. They don't write on my schedule 11 if I'm not getting out the latest at 11:30. Don't write that. I had to hit them with the attitude, y'all, because the way they was talking to me was like, forget you. You be all right. You getting paid? No, ma'am. So I get set with that second table, and I'm managing them. And then the tables of 8, food finally comes out. It comes out, it's been probably 15, 20, 35 minutes, really, because it was a table of 8. Their food comes out. By the time their food comes out, it's probably 10:30. And when it comes out, they're like, this is wrong. All of us wanted bone-in wings. Only one of us wanted boneless. I'm like, I read it back to you. And on the menu, the meal that you ordered says boneless. They're like, we want bone-in. We want to change it now. We also ordered fries and got our fries and da-da-da-da-da-da. That means, you guys, out of the 8 people, I had to re-ring up and delete 6 orders. I had to tell my manager to take off all the food. And then all that food that we had just brought out, I had to throw away. It was mind-blowing because these little kids didn't know what they wanted. So basically, I had to re-ring it in. And it was stressing me out because it's 8 people. They're all talking to me at one time. And then when I go to ring it in, tell my manager what happened, she's like, we can't be copying. It makes me look bad. You need to pay more attention. Like I didn't reread this to these people, tell them, made sure, and all of this. So basically, we had to re-ring in their food, and I got irritated once again because that means I'm not going to be getting out at 11 or 11:30. Probably not even 12, y'all. No. So, while that's happening, while I re-ring their food, their right food probably comes out around 10:50, 55, and at 10:55, Mrs. Ego comes out and she's like, I'm going to sit you with these 3 tables. She tries to seat me with 3 more people. 3 more tables, about 3 people each. No, it's not happening. That means I'm not going to get out of here at 12. I'm not going to get out of here at 11. I'm probably going to be out of here at 1 o'clock in the morning. And y'all might think I'm over exaggerating, but you guys, the latest I've gotten out of the people's place when I was supposed to get off at 11 is 2 o'clock in the morning. That blows my mind, y'all. And I say that it blows my mind because this is a job. It's not like it's a career. If it was a career, then okay, I got to stay a little bit after. That's my money. But this is a job, a summer job I wanted to keep. I'm not staying there probably 2 to 3 hours after I'm scheduled to get off. Absolutely not. But back to the story. Blows my mind. So basically, I said no. I'm not taking that table. I don't know who you go get to take it, but I'm not taking that table. Because I'm looking at all these waitresses, and they probably have 2 tables of like 2 people. So why can't you ask one of them, hey, can you take Jabai's table? Because I always did that for people. When I didn't have, if I saw somebody was overwhelmed and I didn't have that many tables, and somebody asked me, hey, can you pick up this table for so-and-so? I would do it. Why you can't go do the same? So I said, no, I'm not taking the table. I'm not taking in 3 of these tables because I'm scheduled to get off at 11 and I have yet to be cut, and it's about to be 11 o'clock on the dot right now. You're just now cutting. You're probably not even going to cut me at 11. Y'all, it was 10:55 and they still haven't cut me. Cut means you cut them, they finish doing the tables that they have, and then they clean. And then they count their tips. That takes time. So even if they did cut me at 10:45 or 10 o'clock, I still wouldn't be getting out until about 11:30, probably hitting around 12. So imagine the fact that they still haven't cut me and it's about to be 11. No, ma'am. They had the wrong one this day. And I had communicated with them that I was overwhelmed. So why are you trying to give me more tables? But anywho, that's besides the point. So when I tell her that, she walks away. I'm not taking them. She walks away. These tables got their right food. They're eating. I go to the back and Miss Catherine is like, are you overwhelmed, Jamar? Are you still overwhelmed? I'm like, yes. Mrs. Ego trying to make me take 3 other tables and I'm not doing it with this table at 8. I'm not doing it. I told her I'm not doing it. And you know what she says to me? She says, well, you got to do it because we're managers and you got to listen to other managers too. Miss Catherine, I walked out on her. I left. I act like I didn't hear what she was saying and rolled my eyes as I went. No. They did not do this to any other one of my coworkers. Not at all. Since the 4 weeks I've been there, they have not done that to any of them. So why are you doing that to me? It's not happening and I'm not putting up with it. So I dipped. I went back out. That table of 8, by the time she had said that, I went to my computer. I went back to the table of 8. They said, we're ready. Our check's here. At this time, it's probably 11:15, 11:30, whatever. She's like, they're like, our check is here. Total came out to $100 and something. It did. And this is a whole bunch of teenagers. I should have known they couldn't pay for it just by the way they was looking. Not assuming just because you're a teenager, you can't pay for a $100 tab. No, the way they was looking, y'all, they couldn't pay for it. So basically they're like, give me a second. Here's, I think they gave me a 20 and they're like, well, they put the 20 on the table and said, our sister's going to the car to go get the other 20s or whatever. So I walk away. It's been 2 minutes. I walk away for 2 minutes and I come back. They've scattered. One of the hostess are wiping up their table. I'm like, did they leave money on the table? And they're like, here you go. They left their money. I counted. It was $60. Their tab came up to $124. What is the 60 going to do for me? So guess what I had to do on top of that? I had to go back to that manager and tell her they scattered again when somebody had just scattered a week before. I had to tell her, and I felt no remorse for it. I had to tell her. I told her. And she was like, oh my gosh, again, and da-da-da-da-da. I said, but I guess they left what they could. I walked through, they said, give me a minute. I gave them about 2 minutes, if even. I went back and they scattered. I felt no remorse. They had just tried to give me like 5, 6 tables at the same time. No. So, she was a little upset about that. And she was, as soon as I was telling her that, oh no, that's a lie. After I dipped, after I told her, I had told Miss Catherine, I told the other lady that I wasn't going to take that table. That's when I went to go check the table of 8. They said my sister's going to the car. And as they said my sister's going to the car, Miss Catherine called me to the back. And she said, Jemiah, no, she didn't call me to the back. I was walking to the back because they had just said, give me 2 minutes. And that's what I was doing during that 2 minutes. That 2 minutes, I had went to the back. And as I went to the back, the managers came in, like 2 of the managers, Mrs. Ego and Miss Catherine. They had just got done talking about me, the one and only. And they were like, Jemiah, go ahead, clock out and count your tips. They wanted me to dip, y'all. I said, no problem. No problemo. I was supposed to be gone by 45 minutes ago anyways. Goodbye. So, guess what I did? I went to the computer. I think that's when I did whatever. I put my tips in. That took me literally not that much time. And I went back to that table and they had scattered. Boom. All this happened within 2 minutes, y'all. And that's when they had scattered. And then after they scattered, I had to go back to that manager, Miss Catherine, and tell her that they scattered. So she was like, she added that on top of me already having to leave. And so I was like, what you gonna do about all these other tables that y'all had set me with that y'all shouldn't anyway? It's not my problem now. She said, we're just gonna give them to other waitresses. You should have did that in the first place. You should have did that in the first place, because all these other waitresses, they were scheduled till closing, as in when everything closes down. I was not. So what did I do? They basically gave my tables to everybody else. They voided off the table that scattered. And I counted my tips. I went to the back. I even recorded it because I thought she was going to say something to me. I thought she was going to fire me or whatever. Well, she couldn't, but I thought she was going to say something like that or whatever, but she didn't. She just counted my tips, didn't say nothing to me, and I left. I didn't even have to clean up my section. She got other people to do that. And after that day, y'all, I was not coming back, because I feel like they just tried to run over me that day, because you never sit somebody who has a table of 8 right now. Plus they're new. You tell them to tell you when they're overwhelmed, and you won't seat them no more until, they get what they got to do, and then you'll continue seating them. You do that for everybody else. It's like whatever they did for everybody else, they wouldn't do for me. And that was that, y'all. I couldn't do it. It wasn't happening. Say what you want, but it wasn't cutting it. And if you've worked a restaurant job or a fast food job or any type of job, you know that's not how it goes. And you know that's completely unorganized. You know management is poor. You know if you worked before. So, yeah. After that day, I was not about to come back. I wrote my resignation letter. I think my mom still has a copy of it. If she does, then I'll read it to you guys. I'll go try to find it real quick. And that was that. I took my resignation letter up there. I think they already knew I was about to quit, because after that day, they saw it all over my face, you guys. They saw it all over my face. It just wasn't happening, and they knew what they did was wrong. But that is just what broke the camel's back. Y'all already know there's so many other things that happened over this time of 4 weeks that I didn't tell in the story time that leaded up to it as well, including the pedophile. But we're not going to bring him in here. That was all for my story time, y'all. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys have any opinions, put it in the comment section below. If you guys liked today's video and you guys want to see more story times, comment more story times with an exclamation mark in the comment section below to let me know, because I love telling these and I have so many more about Applebee's to tell y'all. That is it for today's story time. If you guys enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social medias, which will be in the description box below. And don't forget to turn on that post notification bell so that you can be updated every time I upload. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys!